Go. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Today is another wonderful, great, and amazing day here in Quantum Family. We are blessed to have Joyce Giraud with us. She is a former Miss Universe. She is an influencer. She is a model. She's a philanthropist. But most important, we're going to get to share with her today her life as a mother, So we are blessed to have her. Hi, Joyce. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful being with all of you.
Well, awesome, awesome. And let me go ahead and take a minute to introduce our co-host. So we have Diane Peñalosa. Diane Peñalosa wrote no one, not two, but three books about motherhood, where she is just explaining how important it is to be a mother. A great book. I have read it myself. Highly recommend it. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Thank you, Javier. Hello, Quantum family. Hello, Joyce. I'm very happy that you are here with us today. And let's start.
Hi. Hi,
Awesome.
you're gorgeous. All of you, all three.
Thank you. And let me go ahead and take a minute also to introduce Debbie DiMaggio. Debbie DiMaggio is also a philanthropist. She is a writer like us. Her newest book is Beauty at Any Age. Amazing book about how beauty is just an attitude. I also have read that book, very, very smart book. In addition, she's a top producer from San Francisco all the way down to Beverly Hills. And I know because we work together. So hi, Debbie. How are you doing today?
Hi everyone. Hi Quantum family. Thank you, Javier. Hi Joyce. You're beautiful.
Hi,
and
you too.
I've been following you now. Thank you. Following you on Instagram, and I did your eyebrow tricks. I followed your makeup recently, yes, the other day, and I'm like, I'm gonna really work on my eyebrows. So thank you for that. You've inspired me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So sweet. And I love your philosophy, because beauty is really just an idea. Beauty comes from within. And I always tell all my viewers when I do my shows of selling my products, I say beauty's everywhere because beauty's in you. So I love your philosophy.
Oh, I love it. I'm so glad. Thank you so much.
Well, awesome.
So now I'm gonna take over the reign for a minute to introduce Javier. Javier Puga Phillips is
And she froze.
She froze.
She froze.
Just love that. And I've spent a lot of time talking with Javier about all the different ways that he fought cancer. And you have to read it in his book. Well, you guys could read it because it's in Spanish, but I'm waiting for the English version. So thank
English
you,
version is
Javier.
coming soon. Thank you very much. Yes, it was a great book. So please, Debbie, go ahead and get started with your question.
Yes. So Joyce, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself to our viewers? People know you're beautiful and you seem to be super kind and outgoing, but tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get today where you are from Puerto Rico and as an influencer and a role model for so many?
So I grew up with a single mommy who did everything. She had 3 jobs to support my brother and myself. And we grew up in the mountains of my lindo Puerto Rico that I adore. And no matter where I am, my heart is there. And we grew up in El Campo, we call it. El Campo is the mountains. So it's not the glamorous side of the beach like everybody thinks of when it's Puerto Rico. It was the mountainside. So yes, I grew up barefoot, running around, milking the cows and just plucking from Mother Nature. And we didn't have a lot of financial resources. We were, and I'm never embarrassed to say this, we were what a lot of people consider poor. But somehow my grandma, mira, se me paran los pelos, my grandma and my mom always made me feel like we had everything in the universe. So I never felt poor. Looking back, I say, oh my God, I only had 2 shoes and now I have such a shoe fetish. So looking back, I say, okay, we didn't have financial resources, but I had so much love that that's all that mattered in the world. And that's how I grew up. Then I graduated high school at a very early age. I was a little bit of a nerd. I graduated at 15 years old. So I started university. And while I was in university doing my 2 bachelor's degrees, I worked at KFC to be able to pay for my books. And in the driveway of KFC, I got discovered by a model scout. And the model scout says to me in the window, listen, are you a model? And I'm like, sir, can you please pay the chicken? I have a line, I gotta run. And he's like, but are you a model? You're exactly what I'm looking for. And I said, please, here he goes again. This is another bully telling me I'm too skinny, because I was really skinny, even more than now growing up. I was super, super skinny. So in school, there were, you know, all these bullies calling me all these names for being so skinny. And I was like, okay, here we go again. I'm, sir, just pay. So he pays, he goes around, comes into the KFC and tells the manager, I'll give you $50 if you convince that girl to do my campaign. And the manager's like, I'll convince her, of course, I'll even give her the day off. And the manager comes to me and says, listen, that guy really thinks you're a model. You should really try. And I said, I'm not a model. And he says, we're paying $500 for the campaign. I'm like, $500? Oh my God, that's a lot. I was like, okay, I'll try once, but I have to come with my mom and my uncle and my cousins and my brother. So there was my entourage of all these people from the mountains. You know, we weren't exactly like well-dressed or anything. We just showed up, and he was like, you are going to be big here. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then when they did up my makeup and made me feel so pretty, I was like, people get paid for this? I mean, people get paid for just getting pampered. I was like, I could do this. I could do this on the side instead of KFC. And that's how my journey began. Then I finished university. I have my 2 bachelor's degrees. One is in social work, one in special education. And then I was playing a truth or dare. They dared me to compete in the Miss Puerto Rico. I did. I won. And then the rest is history. It took me like in a whole other direction. And then I came here to the States after the Miss Universe. I was second runner-up in the Miss Universe. I came here to the States because I got offered a part in Baywatch Hawaii. And then I stayed here, met my amazing husband, have a beautiful family. And you know what I love to do, I am an actress and I am a producer, and I have my own beauty line right now. But one of my biggest passions is doing my philanthropy work. I have a school in Africa for underprivileged kids. And I'm talking a lot, but that's just me in a nutshell.
Please continue. We can stay hours and hours listening to you. You know, I mean, you are out there putting a lot of positive influence out there, a lot of positive quotes. You have inspired so many people, including all of us in here.
Thank
and I'm
you.
sure that Diane has a question for you. So please, Diane, go ahead.
Thank you.
Joyce, I believe that we are creators of our reality. What do you think has set you apart from other people landing where you are today?
Well, you know, that's a really good question, because a lot of people always ask me, what do you do to remain positive, especially in negative times like right now? You know, these are negative times and trying times, times that test our faith. And I think my number one thing that I always recommend to everyone is that we have to wake up with a grateful heart. We have to see that glass as half full instead of half empty. We have to count our blessings. And when you wake up and you open your eyes and you realize, wow, gracias, Papito Dios. Thank you, God, because I am alive. I get to receive the most expensive and the best gift in the universe every single morning when I wake up. Then the rest, it's just all perspective. You know, you could have a bad day here and there, but when you really wake up with a grateful heart and realize that you get to be alive, you say, okay, so what if one day is not as the sunshine doesn't shine as bright as the other, because every day is a gift no matter what. So I think that's the key, and that's at least my outlook.
Oh wow, that's amazing. You know, you are so correct. And like I say, you know, I wrote a book about what I learned when I was battling cancer. And to be 100% honest with you, I got rid of a lot of negative people, and I follow people as important as you are. You know,
Yeah.
follow you on social media. I learn a lot from you. And one of the things that you talk that is very important is to be in touch with your inner child. You know, the inner child is so important. So I would like to know, how do you get in touch with your inner child, and how would you, you know, help those who are looking to get in touch with the inner child?
By the way, congratulations on your book. I love that you wrote a book to inspire other people out there, and especially other people out there that are going through such a horrible thing as cancer. I mean, I have a friend going through it, and it's really gorgeous that you have written this book. So thank you so much for doing that. I think a lot of my friends always say, tú eres una nena eterna. It means you're like an eternal little girl. And it's true. Even my husband says, you're like my girlie. You're like a little girl always. And I think you just have to always stay in touch with that inner child. Make sure that the little you know, that little person that is still in you is proud of the adult you are today. And when you think of that, when you think, okay, would Joyce, the little girl, be proud of the woman I am today? Because when we are little, we have all these dreams. The sky is the limit. We have all these desires and we just dare to dream big. And then somehow, a lot of people, I can't include myself because I still dare to dream big, but somehow a lot of people, as we age, we get so jaded and we start saying, life sucks, this, that. I don't know why we do that, but it's just, maybe it's taught, maybe it's experiences, but we have to realize that those experiences are just part of our journey to make us stronger and to make us appreciate the journey a little bit more. But we can't let go of that inner child that dares to dream and that is awake and happy every day. Because if you realize, you know, my kids, I see them when they wake up in the morning, they're like, Mama, good morning. Yeah. They run to my room. The first thing I hear is little footsteps running to my room and jumping on my bed like, hey, Mama. And I'm like, good morning, my babies. You know, so you have to wake up with that passion for life, that thirst for life. And that's what I mean when I say stay in touch with your inner child. Make sure you never lose that desire, the dreams, you know, believing that the sky is the limit. Because when you have that, you will realize that you will see that glass as half full.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know what? I would be happy to talk to your friend if he or she needs any help, you know. And actually,
you.
Quantum Family is created for that. We are creating what we wanted to see. We want to put a positive outlook out there. We know there's this hard times, so we decided to get together and talk about good, wonderful, and amazing things. And on that note, I know Debbie has a question for you. So please, Debbie, go ahead.
1 second before Debbie's question, just for the Quantum Family, because you've made this for that and because you're so inspirational, I do want everyone watching this whole outlet to know that I know how you're feeling. Look, I have my battle scars right here. I just went through an incident myself. And what's important is that when you go through these tests in life, you realize, like I said, oh, I'm losing my iPad. You realize, like I said, it's part of the journey. It doesn't mean, you can't just think, why me? You know, why is this happening to me? There was a moment when it happened to me that I said, why is this happening? And then right away, it was almost like as if God was talking to me and saying, why not? This is just making you stronger. This is just a great testimony that you're going to have in your life. So if you are watching, because I always believe that if we can impact just one person, we've done our job. If you're watching and you're thinking, why me? Why is this happening? Why did I lose my job? Why am I going through cancer? Why am I, you know, all these different problems that can occur. If you're thinking, why me? You just have to know that this is just part of your journey and that you have to live it, because you will come out of it stronger. It will get better. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And when we look back, we say, okay, that wasn't as bad. Sometimes the problems that we look back on, we say, okay, I was, en español decimos ahogándome en un vaso de agua. I was drowning in a cup of water. You know, sorry for my Spanglish. I have a total Spanglish always. So, you know, so, you know, just know if you're going through anything that this too shall pass. Sorry.
No. Actually, you know, you are so correct. Actually, just to let you know, when I went through cancer and I talked to Papi Dios, like you call him, you know, and I asked him, why me? But he talked back to me and he said, because you need to share your journey. You need to tell people.
Yes.
You need to be an inspiration. You need to be the voice, you know. So I realized there was not a lot of resources. So I sat down and I just wrote to heal my soul and to help others. And like you said, just one person that I can help, I can be happy. So, okay, now David, going back to you.
I love it. No, I love that you said that. I believe it's so true. When you're going through something, it's horrible. And then you come out and you go, oh, I had to do that to get to this point. I'm going through something right now and I see that didn't work out, but I see that there's something bigger and better coming. So I'll share that with you, Javier, later. But so I can see why I was going to say you are certainly a role model for people. I can clearly see why now speaking to you. You have so much passion and joy and you clearly want to help people. I mean, I love watching you speak. And I love, even though I don't understand the Spanish, I know it's really exciting what you're saying because you put so much energy into the room. In my first book contained beauty, photographs, reflections, and swimming pools. I reflect, and I also speak about my role models. Princess Diana was one of my role models for her philanthropy and children's charities and her just love of humankind and the poor and the needy and the children. I just loved watching her do, to follow her through all of her things that she went through with her charities. My grandma, Stella DiMaggio, was also my role model. I'm wondering, when you were a little Puerto Rican girl in the mountains, who were your role models?
My grandma was my biggest role model. My grandma was my everything because she was the one taking care of me while my mom was doing her 3 jobs. And my grandma, mi abuelita, is my inspiration behind everything. I mean, when she passed away, it was like a part of me went with her, and a part of me will always be with her. But I know for a fact, because I feel it and I see it, I know for a fact that that connection I have with God is because she's in his ear saying, hey, take care of my girl. Hey, watch. Hey, that's just my philosophy, my what I think. Because I mean, when I grew up with her, every day she would just inspire me. Every day, that whole wake up with a grateful heart comes from her. When every single day she would be like, Lassie, they used to call me Lassie because of the dog, because they said I was so loyal. So they would call me Lassie. And she was like, Lassie, mira esto. She would just teach me of amazing things from Mother Nature and just make me think, wow, the world is so vast and so amazing. She would teach me how to travel through books. She would just grab a book and say, okay, we might not ever go there, but let's go there right now in our imagination. So she just instilled in me this love for my peers and for human kindness and for our world. And she is the inspiration behind absolutely everything. So my 2 biggest role models growing up were my abuelita and my mom. Especially when I became a mom, my mom even became a bigger role model, because then I understood the struggles she went through. Then I understood and I said, oh my God, I can't believe she did all of this on her own to make sure we were okay. So then I understood furthermore. So those are my 2 inspirations in life, no ands, ifs, or buts.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. That's beautiful.
That is so well said, because I'm gonna say that when I read Los Superpoderes de Mamá from Diane, because I read it, I was thinking about maybe adopting someday or what have you, and I needed to understand a little bit more, and I read it and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea of what goes in making a child, raising a child. It's amazing. So honestly, kudos to you ladies who are up there doing it. So Diane, please go ahead and go your question.
Yes, I wrote a special trilogy for motherhood. One of the main difficulties that mothers find is not knowing how to have a balance between raising their children and their professional life. What advice would you give to these mothers who, like you, want to be successful in both?
So I think moms are heroes without a cape. That's just how I see it. Especially those strong mamas out there that are doing it all. I mean, being a mom is very hard. It's yesterday I was writing about this, actually the day before yesterday on my social media, because I was doing that tutorial that you talked about for the eyebrows. And then someone wrote me and said, well, you are lucky that you have 5 minutes in the morning to get ready. But talk to the moms like me that don't have help, that don't have nannies. And I said, honey, right now, I have no nanny. I have no help. I am cleaning, cooking, doing the Zoom. I'm being a teacher. I'm building my business, but I still want to be pretty. You can have 5 minutes for yourself. So my advice to all those mamas out there, don't let yourself go. Do what makes you happy. If it's, you know what, I want to take 5 minutes to get cute and vacuum cute and clean the bathroom cute. That's how I like to do it. I want to be cute no matter what. So I want to know that I'm doing my own nails because I'm in quarantine. I'm not going out or anything. So I do my nails every week. My husband's like, where are you going? I'm like, nowhere. I'm just here. I want to be cute. So I want to be cute, even if it's to vacuum, to clean, to pick up my doggy's poopy, whatever I'm doing the beds. I want in the morning, I take my 5 minutes. It's literally a 5-minute routine. And I want to be cute. If making you happy means taking a bath, take your bath. Do whatever makes you happy. But you always, in order for you to have a balanced life and for being able to work and be successful at it, to be a good mommy, because if you're too stressed, you're going to let it out on the kids. So in order for you to be a good mommy, to try to be successful at your work and to keep your household sane, you have to be sane yourself. You have to take care of yourself. So you have to take a little time for yourself and do whatever makes you happy, so that then you can spread that happiness onto your household and onto the world. And a lot of my mamas out there, because I get a lot of DMs and messages from mamas asking me stuff, I realize that the problem is they don't take time for themselves. They're on the go, 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 go. And the few moments, excuse me, the few moments that they have a little time, instead of taking that time for themselves, they think, okay, well, now I gotta think of what I'm gonna do next. No, just take time for yourself. You know, the day is long. Even if some days go fast, the day is long. You have an hour for yourself out of the day. Just take it. Put the kids to work on their homework, put them to do some art, tell them, do not interrupt mama until you finish, you know, and when you finish, you come to me. Give them a chore, give them chores, give them assignments. And I think you need to take that time for yourself. That's just my advice to my mamas out there. And to the daddies, there's a lot of single daddies out there that we can't neglect either. You know, there's a lot of daddies out there that have as much work as the mamas in the superheroes without the capes. But the reason why I think mamas are superheroes without capes is because I mean, don't get me wrong, I also believe that daddies are superheroes without capes. I don't want to neglect my daddies, but I think just being able to create a human being is, to me, so miraculous. You know, just feeling that little thing growing inside of you. You know, when I was pregnant with my second child, I was in bed rest. I was hospitalized for 5.5 months and I couldn't move. I was at Cedars-Sinai and I couldn't move. And that's all I did. And everyone was like, how are you still happy? How are you? And I was like, well, guess what? I'm not even doing anything. All I'm doing is lying down here, reading books, watching TV. I mean, it's a holiday. It's like a little vacation with my little guy. I'm just bonding with my little guy. So I think all the mommies just realized what a blessing it is to be a mommy, and then know that everything else, you have to take time for yourself, and you just have to talk to them a lot, because conversation is the key. Whenever I feel that my kids are starting to act up, I talk to them, and it's like a light switch inside that they say, oh, okay, mama, you're right, mama. Sorry, mama. So conversation and taking time for yourself.
Great, thank you.
Wow, that was so cool. You know, and this is personal as well. When I was sick and I was going to radiation, of course I had to take time off. You know, and then I noticed and then I read one of your posts about the importance of the inner circle. So that after my radiation, I decided to just go ahead and change my friendships around and just surrender myself for people who inspire me. You know, that's what Debbie's in my life. That's what Diane is in my life. That's why we decided to just get positive people and just rebuild. I know there's a lot of people out there that know that they have friends that they should not be friends with or what have you. So in your opinion, and for you, how important was it to have a good inner circle of friends that believe in you?
It's so important. You have to surround yourself with people that have the same outlook in life as you do. And toxic people will only bring you down. You don't want to surround yourself around toxic people that only want to bring you down, because life is too short to allow that to happen. You know, and this is something, actually, my husband and I were talking about it the other day. There's a lot of toxicity in social media, and you have to be wise enough to understand that while it's a great tool to connect with wonderful people like you guys and to connect with friends you haven't seen in forever, you do have to, whatever's toxic that is not adding to your life, that is making you depressed, that is making you compare yourself to X, Y, or Z, because comparison is the thief of joy. You know, we have to let go of it. You have to be smart enough to say, okay, this person is toxic. I'm sorry. If you come and ask me for something, I'm always there because I'm there, you know, as the peers, but I'm sorry, I'm going to slowly step away. Or, you know what, this person on social media is just always spreading hate. I'm sorry, but I'm going to block you. I'm going to, you know, unfollow you. If you are a fan that is just throwing hate, I'm sorry, but goodbye. Because life is too short to let yourself just be pulled down. We already have enough on our plate, these times especially, you know, these corona times that are crazy times in our world. We already have a lot on our plate to allow more toxic things to enter into our circle. So you have to make sure you surround yourself with a circle that has the same outlook and the same visions that you have in life. That doesn't mean that your friends won't make mistakes. You know, as friends, as humans, you will have, there will be moments that you agree to disagree, but being toxic is a whole different thing. So you do have to make sure you surround yourself with the right people that are adding to your life, not taking away.
Oh, wow. Okay. So much agree with you. So Debbie, please go ahead.
Yes, so I want to bring it back to my
Debbie, you're frozen.
Debbie froze. Okay, I know what she's going to ask. So I'm going to ask you. Sorry. Okay, she's going to ask you. She recently published Beauty at Any Age, because just age is just an attitude. I would like to add any beauty tips to my blog, Contain Beauty. Can you share a few beauty tips with our viewers?
Hi, I hope she's listening. Hi,
We'll listen
otherwise
to
she'll hear it later. She'll hear it later. Okay, so beauty tips. First of all, the biggest beauty tip is to remember that beauty always comes from within. So beauty is in you and beauty is everywhere. So remember that beauty comes from within. And when you feel beautiful, you are going to look beautiful, because that's just the way it is. And beauty fades. You know, beauty is relative. What's beautiful to some people might not be beautiful to other people. But when you enter a room and when you radiate that light, I think that's what's beautiful. When you can be yourself and when you can inspire others, that's what's beautiful, in my opinion. Now, in the beauty world, beauty tips, my biggest beauty tip is an old ancient beauty tip, and it's never ever go to bed with makeup on. I always, every single morning, I put on my organic serum that I learned from my grandma. It's my Pure 4 from my collection. I try to not put any toxic things on my skin or on my face or on my hair. I take my supplements, which are from my line. It's the #1 bestseller of my line, and it's helped so many people. So I'm very excited about that. So I think that's the two biggest tips for beauty. #1, never go to bed with your makeup on. Try to always use products that are not toxic, because there's a lot of toxic products out there. And the biggest thing is to remember that beauty comes from within, and that when you feel beautiful, you're going to radiate that beauty at any age, because every age is beautiful. And we have to remember that, you know, these little, esta arruguita and all this stuff going on is just part of our beautiful journey that shows what we've lived, what we've been able to get that gift of life, and what we've been through.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Awesome, awesome. Well, please, Diane, go ahead.
Joyce, mothers, mostly the ones of small children, find it difficult to find times for themselves. Can you share with us what a day in Joyce's life looks like? How do you organize to have times for yourself and your family?
Okay, so for example, this morning, I literally just posted that on one of my stories. I posted, all right, breakfast, check. Make the beds, check. Organize the rooms, check. Feed the dogs, check. Do my makeup really quick because I want to be cute during the day, check. And now I'm doing this interview with you guys. And first I put my kids in the Zoom, so I know they're in the Zoom. Then I'm doing this interview with you guys. After this, I have to get on another Zoom for my beauty line because I'm launching in Canada in 2 weeks. So it is a little bit hectic, a day in my life, especially right now because I don't have help. Usually I do have a nanny. I'm very blessed and very lucky. Usually I do have a nanny, but since Corona started, I haven't had help. And then in the middle of the interview, I have to make sure that I'm cooking so that when the kids break for lunch, it's served for them. And then after that, after they break for lunch, I have to serve them the lunch. Then after that, I have to go and finish whatever work I have pending from the Zoom that I'm going to have. They're going to ask me for a lot of things that I'm going to need for my Canadian launch. And then after that, the kids will have homework. So then we have to do the homework. And then after we do the homework, I will let them watch a movie. And that is my time. And in my time, then I can either choose to clean the house. So I clean at least 3 times a week, like deep clean, because I'm a little bit of an OCD. So I clean about 3 times a week. And then the other days that I'm not cleaning, I say, okay, this is my hour. I am going to take a bath and be in my Zen place. I'm going to read a good book, or I'm going to watch a show. This is what I'm going to do. Then later on in the day, when I put my kids down to bed, that's my time with my husband. And that's the time that then we either watch a show or we have dinner. We sit down alone for a romantic dinner. So every day is a little bit different, but every day is very hectic. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Every day is different, but every day is a little bit hectic.
Wow. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, one of the things that I have learned through all this experience is how important is gratitude. You have to be grateful. I love when you go around saying, gracias, Papi Dios, muchísimas gracias, Papi Dios. You go all day long saying Papi Dios, you know, and I know that.
Papito Dios.
Papito Dios, I just absolutely, I get chills just thinking about it, because that's the way I got to know God, you know, como Papi Dios, you know. Entonces, do you have any gratitude routine that you do to incorporate into your life?
Absolutely. Every morning when I wake up, I smile and I say, gracias, Papito Dios. I am alive. I just got this amazing gift. I wake up with that grateful heart. That's every single morning. And then during the day, before, I'm not driving anywhere right now, but before, when I was driving, every time I was driving, I would do Psalm 23. Salmo 23 is the one that my grandma did every day with me. So every time when I was driving, I would just do my psalm and I talk to God and I say, oh my God, this happened. And can you believe? And I'm so happy because of this. And I wanted to ask you for this person that's going through this and that. So it's like all day, there's moments in and out where I like to talk to God. I have conversations with God, you know, like full on conversations. And I imagine him answering me and like, yeah, do this, do that. But, and then in the night, every single night, a routine that we do every day since they were born, even when they didn't understand it. Now they know it by memory, but even when they didn't understand it, every single day when I'm putting my kids down to bed, we do Psalm 23, because that I have from my grandma. And we do it. Jehová es mi pastor y nada me faltará. We just do the whole psalm. And it's such a beautiful psalm of gratitude. You know, it's such a beautiful psalm of knowing that you're not alone, that even if you go through trials and tribulations, God is there and you're not alone. So it's a psalm of gratitude and of knowing how to trust your peers and how to be there for your peers. It's my favorite psalm, and my kids know it by heart now. They also know it Padre Nuestro. It's another prayer. So we have this long, my husband's like, baby, that's a lot of prayers. I'm like, I know, that's great. I mean, it takes like a whole 5 minutes. We don't have 5 minutes to pray to God and to be thankful at the end of the day. And he's like, yeah, but that's a lot. You're making them a lot. Then when Puerto Rico was going through Hurricane Maria, there was another prayer for the Puerto Rican people. And my husband's like, that's just a lot. I didn't grow up doing so many, but okay, let's do it. Because it's our family routine. We all have to be there. You know, if before Corona times, when I had dinners or parties or whatever, it was always after I put my kids down to bed. I always put my kids down to bed, and then I can go and have adult fun and adult time. But I always put my kids down to bed, and that prayer is always our routine.
Wow, awesome, awesome. You know, I love how Boricua, how pro Boricua you are. It's just amazing. I always have a little soft heart in my heart for Puerto Rico ever since Walter Mercado with mucho amor. You know, I always start with that, and I always felt very, very, anyway, very close to Puerto Ricans. And I know on that note, Debbie has a question. So Debbie, please go ahead.
Yes, well, we want to know how we could help. So we believe at Quantum Family, we believe that the Puerto Ricans should be a state in the United States, and we want to know how we can support the rights of over 3 million Puerto Ricans to gain their rights and proper representation.
Well, I mean, you can always write to your senators for extra help for Puerto Rico. But something I've always said, you know, it's the same situation like with Hawaii. Before Hawaii became a state, there was many referendums for Hawaii to become a state. And it's up to the people, you know, it's my Puerto Rican peers that have to decide. So there's been many referendums. Some people want statehood, some people don't. Some people want to stay the way we are. And I always feel, okay, then I have to respect it. You know, I choose to not vote in Puerto Rico because I don't live there. And I don't think it's fair for me to vote when I'm not there. My heart is there. My whole family is there. My mom is there. My cousins, my aunts, everybody's there. But it's not fair for me to vote or to say, this is what I want for Puerto Rico. I know what ideally I would want, but I can't impose what my ideas would be because it's up to my people that live there, that do the struggle day to day, you know? So I think there will be many more referendums before that becomes a reality or not. And it's up to my people to decide if they want to be a state or if they want to have the best of both worlds, you know, have the benefits of the states, but the independence of Puerto Rico, where we get to represent our island, you know, everywhere in sports and beauty pageants and everywhere, you know. But I do think one thing, in my opinion, I do believe that Puerto Rico should be able to vote for the president of the United States. I do believe that, regardless if Puerto Rico becomes a state or not, it is a territory of the United States. So why is it that it's a territory that United States has power over it, but we can't vote for the president? We can vote in the primaries, but we can't vote for the president. I say we, I mean, I vote for the president because I live in California, but I'm just including myself with my Boricuas in the island. So I do believe that Puerto Rico should have the right to vote for the president of the United States.
Go Puerto Rico, go! Well, I totally agree with you. You know, like I said, so many, Puerto Rico has given us so much to the world. I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda, OMG, he's just a genius. The guy, I think that he's just a music note walking. You know, it's one of my biggest heroes. So please, Diane, go ahead with your next question.
And you know, we have more. We have so many Puerto Ricans outside of the island. We have more Puerto Ricans outside of the island. It's called the La Diaspora than Puerto Ricans inside of the island. Puerto Rico has 3.5 million Puerto Ricans. In New York, there's almost 3.7 million Puerto Ricans. Just New York. Chicago has millions of Puerto Ricans. Miami. So there's so many Puerto Ricans, like Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was in New York. You know, he was raised in New York, like Jennifer Lopez or like Mark Anthony. They are Puerto Ricans. We call them New Yorkers because they are born and raised in New York, but they're proud Puerto Ricans and represent us every day. So there's so many Puerto Ricans outside of Puerto Rico as well.
Well, like yourself, who is out there being a voice in Puerto Rico, giving it a positive voice and a beautiful face. And like you say, because the beauty comes from the in, out. So totally agree with you. So Diane, please go ahead.
Joyce, we know that you are a happily married woman, and I personally love the couple you make. Can you share with us how your love story started?
Oh my God, how much time do you have?
All day long for you, honey.
Like a whole episode. That's a whole conversation. So, my beautiful husband, Michael, this love story started almost 18 years ago. We've been together for almost 18 years, married 12, together 18. And the way it started was I went to a Super Bowl party and I met this girl from New York, and she says, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." And la la la. We clicked, we connected. And she says, "I live in New York, but I come to LA a lot." And I said, "Oh my God, I go to New York a lot. I model a lot in New York." She goes, "Perfect. We're bi-coastal. When you come to New York, you can stay in my apartment. When I come to LA, I'll stay in your apartment." Long story short, she calls me about a month later and I said, "Oh, are you coming to LA?" She says, "No, but you have to meet the boss of this guy I'm dating." And right away when she said that, I said, "Listen, if you are here in LA, we'll all go to dinner. but I'm not going to go on some blind date with the old boss of your boyfriend. And she's like, no, 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 you got to meet this guy. He's great. And I never asked her what's his age, nothing, because I was against, you know, back then there wasn't this match.com and all these social media datings and all that stuff. I would have liked it. If I look at it now, I say, oh my God, I would totally do that online dating stuff. That seems great that you can talk to people before you actually have to go on the date. But none of that existed back then. So I was like, I'm not going to do some blind date. I'm not going out with some guy I don't know. I'm not doing that. So she says, you have to go, you have to go. I said, listen, you don't know me. Lose my number, please. You're obviously not a good friend if you are insisting so much that you want to give this old guy my number. Not once did she say, wait, he's not old. And I was like, if I go out, he calls me, and his voice, because he's German, sounds very deep and very old. And I said, oh my God, this is an 80-year-old, bald, short guy. This girl thinks I'm some gold digger, and she thinks I just want to go out with the boss of the boyfriend. Oh my God, because we met once at a Super Bowl party, so it's not like she was an old friend. And I called the girl, I'm like, lose my number, don't ever give my number to anyone. And please just stop. Tell the guy to not call me. I'm not doing a blind date. Just stop. Michael keeps calling me every single day for 3 months. And every single day. And I was like, ay, el viejito, the oldie, he's so nice. If he was only 40, I would totally go out with him. But, he's so nice. But my mom would kill me if I go out with an 80-year-old guy. I mean, she's going to kill me. And every day he called me, and all my girlfriends were like, oh, el viejito, it's the oldie calling again. And they would even talk like very low, like, hey, how are you? Like, like you're talking to an elderly person. And he just kept calling me every day. And I had this friend of mine who was a little bit older, and she liked older guys. And she's like, el viejito's perfect for me. You should totally hook me up. And I'm like, I know, because he's so nice. I know he's going to be in my life forever as a friend, but I'm never going to date him. But as a friend, I'm going to have him in my life forever. So it would be great if you guys date. So I start talking to him about Lauren, and I'm like, Lauren is great. I have to introduce you to Lauren. You're going to love Lauren. And he's like, yeah. Listen, I want to meet you. And I'm like, no, you got to meet Lauren. I'm going to introduce you to Lauren. So long story short, after 3 months of me having every excuse in the book with no filter, like, oh, I have my period, I have to study, I have to wash my hair, I have, no filter that you would normally use and be proper and polite if you're actually dating. I didn't have zero filters, and I was just, whatever, the oldie's going to be my friend. I could be entirely open with him. And after 3 months, I was in New York doing a job, a modeling job. And he calls me, and I'm like, wow, I was like, wow, didn't you say you were going to Germany? And he was like, yeah. What are you doing? And I said, I'm in the lounge. Wow, oldie is like decadent, calling from planes and stuff. Lauren is going to love that. He's like, because back then calling from a plane was like a crazy thing. So I said, wow, when I get to LA, he calls me again. And I'm like, oh my God, you're calling me from the plane. What's wrong with you? Stop calling me. And he's like, what are you doing tonight? And I said, I'm going to order Chinese and stay in because, I'm tired. I just flew back. So I'm just going to order in and stay. He goes, perfect. I'll pick you up at 8. And I'm like, and I was just quiet and silent. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I say? And I was like, well, wait. I thought you're in Germany. He's like, no, I've rearranged my travels because I really want to meet you. And I'm like, I was just like quiet. And he said, and then he says to me, I'll pick you up. I know where you live. And I'm like, how do you know where I live? And I'm like, stalker much, the oldie. And he's like, I'll pick you up at 8. And I'm like, well, maybe we just do a little coffee. I used to live in the Sunset Plaza area. So I was like, maybe we just do a little coffee there and I'll walk. And that way it's easy. And he goes, nope, coffee is BS. I'll pick you up at 8. And I'm like, wow, oldie tiene cojones. Okay, vamos. And I'll take like the picture of Lauren in my clutch. And that way I'll show him Lauren's picture. I'll be really ugly. I'll have no makeup, hair in a bun. So that's how I was. I was no makeup, hair in a bun, flat cowboy boots, little wife beater, big leather jacket, big jeans, like fat, big jeans. So no sexiness whatsoever. And when I'm looking from above my apartment, I see this big head of hair, and I'm like, oh my God, I call my best friend and I'm like, oldie has a toupee. How embarrassing is that? And she's like, how embarrassing. That's terrible. Hide yourself so nobody sees you. That's really bad. They're going to think you're some gold digger. And I was like, I know this is so bad, but it is what it is. I'm just going to go and show him Lauren's picture because he's so nice. I can't do that to him. I can't just not go. So I go, And when I see him, I was like, you are you? And I remember he's like, finally, and gives me the 2 European kisses and puts me in the car. And I'm like, and I'm letting my down, I'm letting my hair down. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like my dream guy. You know, when what you dream of when you're a little girl, that you say, okay, this is my dream Ken, you know, I'm the Barbie and he's Ken. I was like, that's like my dream guy. And I've been wasting all this time, and look how I look so bad. And I was like, I have no makeup in my clutch. I just have Lauren's picture and my phone and my credit card and $20. That's all I have. And I had a rosebud, this little lip gloss. And I was like, oh my God. So by the time he comes around, I have like my hair down and I'm like, hey, and I'm like trying to hide my face with my hair, like, hey. And he's like, finally. And we go, and when I get to the restaurant, I'm like, I have to use the restroom really quick. I go to the restroom to beg any girl for Mercy makeup. I'm like, I'll just, anything, you know, a little bit of mascara, anything, because I had like a washed face. And not one girl walked into the restroom. And my friend is like, my best friend is telling me, well, I can bring you makeup. And I'm like, he's going to think I have like massive diarrhea in the bathroom while you come half an hour away. She was half an hour away in Westwood. And she's like, oh my God, and why do you look so bad? And I'm like, you told me to look bad, so nobody Anyway, long story short, I took that lip gloss I had and I said, I'm going to put it on my whole face and I'm just going to glow. And that's what it is. And she was like, you're going to glow? He's going to think you're greasy. I'm like, it doesn't matter. At least I'm going to feel good. You know, I'm going to feel pretty. And I put it on my whole face, and I went out, and we closed the restaurant down at 2:30 in the morning. They kicked us out of the restaurant, and he took me home. When he took me home, I was like, don't get out of the car, because I didn't want him to try to kiss me on the first date, because I really liked him. So then I was like, oh my God. Then I was nervous, you know? And when I got out of the car, I literally, my knees got weak and I fell, just like in the movies. Like they say your knees got weak. I thought that was just fake. It happened. It's the only time in my life that it's happened to me. He said it happened to him when we were getting married, when he saw me coming when we were getting married. But the only time it's happened to me was that one time. I was getting out of the car and I literally, my knees got weak and I fell. And instead of lying and saying, oh, I just dropped something, you know, like not lying, just admitting that I fell. Instead of that, I'm like, I fell. And he's like, what? What do you mean? Let me go. And I'm like, don't come out. Don't come. And then I was just going. And anyway, the rest is history. Then after that, we saw each other every single day after that. And he proposed right away. We met in February. He proposed in August on his birthday. And I said, okay, let's get engaged. I don't want to get married just yet until we're ready to have children, but I do know that you're the man I want to spend the rest of my life with. And he's amazing. I pinch myself every day that God gave me such a wonderful human that is my best friend, my love, the best father in the planet, the best partner I could ask for. He's amazing.
Wow, that is so sweet. I mean, beautiful story, you know, I love it. On that note, you know, like I say, I'm Latino, like you are Latina, okay? And I'm married to a white boy with German background. So, you know, in my house, we speak German, we speak Spanish, we speak, you know, Bison Sea, and next thing you know, we're mixing. So my question to you would be, you know, if we decide to ever adopt a child, how do you manage to actually, you know, to merge the Latino background, which is so strong and so loud, and we'll go together with the, you know, more German strict bass, and then put it together. You know, what advice do you give to merge cultures?
Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. And I can't wait for you guys to adopt. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. So I'm so excited for you. I think, you know, for us, obviously I'm the loud one. I'm the Latina, so I'm the loud one. I kind of take over, and he is more the centered and passive one. But it's a great balance. It's wonderful. It's a fantastic balance. So your children will love that balance. And a big advice that I have to give you, since you're getting ready to do this, hopefully soon, a big advice is regarding the languages. And you're telling me you speak every language at home. Do you speak German?
Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Und Sie?
Ich spreche ein bisschen, ein kleiner bisschen.
Bison see Helene Fischer. She's an amazing singer. If you know Helene Fischer, follow her. She's amazing. She speaks German slowly and clearly, and that's like I train my ear to start understanding more and practicing.
I can understand it because I've been traveling so much to to Germany with my husband, so I can understand it. Ich verstehe, but I can't. I can speak it like when I'm shopping at a store to get my way around it, or when somebody speaks to me in German, I just answer in English. So I can understand it, but it's a very, very difficult language. It's a little bit complicated. So on that note, I do recommend that you speak only Spanish to your children. Forget about the English. Let them learn English in school. Speak only Spanish. Those first years, those years of formation, speak only Spanish, and have your husband speak only English, only German, because we made that mistake. My kids are fully fluent in Spanish because since they were babies, I've been speaking to them in Spanish. I would sing in Spanish. I would do everything, the Psalm 23 in Spanish, everything in Spanish. So they're fluent in Spanish. They're fluent in English, obviously. School is in English, but they don't speak German. They just speak very little. What little German they speak is what I teach them, because my husband gets really frustrated when he speaks to them in German and they answer in English. He's like, and I'm like, no, but that means they understand you. So just keep going, because it's a very slow process. You know, my big boy, Leonardo, the first whole year of his life, he never spoke any Spanish. And I was so frustrated because I was telling my mom, Mommy, I'm doing everything. How is it possible that I was a special ed teacher? You know, I had to do my internship and all of that stuff, and I was great at it, and I can't teach my child how to speak my language. I'm failing. My mom is like, just keep going, don't worry, don't be so hard on yourself. And I kept going and kept going, but I felt, you know, like I was failing at it, but I didn't give up. So when my Valentino was, I think he was about, I don't know, maybe like 5 months, he goes, te amo, like very slow, te amo. And I'm like, oh my God, Valentino speaks Spanish. We're going to do a party. We're going to get some balloons. We're going to get a cake. Leonardo, my older boy, in perfect Spanish goes, yo también hablo, lo que pasa es que no me gusta. And I'm like, what? And I literally looked at him and I'm like, oh my God, you're part of the party too. And he was like, okay, I can have cake. And I'm like, tell it to me in Spanish. And he goes, quiero bizcocho. And I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, you just have to be patient regarding the language, regarding the mesh of the cultures. Just teach them that every culture is beautiful, because the loud Latino is a beautiful culture. The German is a beautiful culture that has so much to offer as well. And the American culture has so much to offer as well, you know. So just teach them that no matter where in the world we are lucky enough to go and to visit or to study or to visit virtually. I'm making my kids travel. They travel every week virtually, you know, through the computer. And we write about the country we travel to. No matter which culture we're studying or visiting or being a part of, every culture is so beautiful if you really give it time to study it and to understand it. Even if we have differences, they're all still beautiful. So I think you guys are going to make great parents, and it's going to be amazing.
Oh, thank you. Greatly appreciate it, because right now I can take any advice I can.
I know it's scary. It can be scary, but don't be scared. Don't be scared. Know that you're going to do great.
Thank you. Okay, Debbie, do you have a question?
Oh, well, I think we may have covered a bit. I've during this whole COVID thing since March, you know, in the beginning, it was interesting because it wasn't so bad because the family came back together. But as we continue on through COVID and the election, and in California, all the fires, you know, you can't help but get a little down and sad. And I'm usually always happy. So once in a while I'll get a little sad and depressed. And I'm just wondering, what could you share with people, or what could you tell people who feel that way? What could we do to not feel so sad or depressed or hopeless?
You know, there are moments where our faith is tested, and it's just part of the journey. And for me, you know, I'm always like yourself, like you're saying, I'm always happy, but there are days that somehow we're tested with so much that we say, oh my God, I'm so sad. Or as a woman, you're PMSing and you just can't help but be sad or have mood swings, or, you know, I just think that a lot is happening in our world, and more than ever, we need to look for positivity. So like we said throughout our conversation, let go of anything that brings you down. Let go of the toxic people. If social media is bringing you down, let go of social media. Don't open it. It's your choice. If there's friends that are bringing you down, let go of them. If you're feeling down because you can't go out and you're in quarantine, find other outlets to take your mind off of that. You know, start writing a book about your experience. Start writing about why you're feeling sad, why you're feeling depressed. And then later on, when you get out of that dark hole, start writing about how you overcame that sadness. So there's so many different outlets that we can take, and know that you're not alone. Know that even a lot of people tell me you're always so happy, and I say I have my moments too. I'm human. We're all human. So know that you're not alone, and don't ever compare yourself to anybody else, because like I said before, comparison is the thief of joy. And when you compare yourself to anybody, whether it be a celebrity or a friend, oh, she has it so good because her husband helps her more than mine, or she has it good because she has a nanny and I don't, or this person has it good because they still have their job and I don't, or, you know, whatever comparison you're doing or whatever it is, don't compare yourself. Your journey is yours and yours only. So don't compare your journey to anybody else's journey, and know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and that God gives his strongest battles to his toughest soldiers. So whatever test you're going through in life, know that that test is there to make you stronger, and know that it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to have ups and downs. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't say, no, I gotta be happy. You don't. It's okay. Take some time for yourself. Take a bath, read a book, take some time for yourself. If you're out of work right now, guess what? Start dreaming. Start saying, okay, what is it that I've always wanted to do? Let me start trying to do that. Start dreaming. Start trying to know that the sky is the limit for you, that it will take hard work and perseverance and determination, but the sky is the limit, and that it's okay to have ups and downs.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for all your pieces of advice. So just to close this, how can our viewers follow you, find you, get your line of products? How can they get in touch with you so they can get inspired by you?
So they can follow me on Instagram. It's Joyce_Giraud. That's my Instagram. Or they can follow Joyce Giraud Beauty for all the beauty tips of my line and me doing little tutorials. Today I did a little tutorial on how to put your hair up quickly and on the go. If you haven't washed your hair and you want to have it glamorous, but you have to be quick, as everything I do, you know, those 2-minute routines. And you can also go on joycegiraud.com, and you can write me there. You can check out my line, everything there. And for our viewers that are here in the States, they can watch me on QVC with my entire line of products. Viewers in Canada can watch me on TSC in 2 weeks. Viewers in Europe can also watch me on QVC. So we're all over the map through Zoom. But you can go on Joyce Giraud Beauty, and there it will have, or joycegiraud.com, sorry. I have all of them mixed up. joycegiraud.com.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you very much again. We're very, very grateful to have you. So everybody here in Quantum Family, thank you very much for staying with us. Please make sure that you like the channel and to follow us as well. Thank you and have an amazing day. See you guys later.
Thank you, Quantum Family. Thank you to all 3 of you. You're amazing. Please keep sprinkling joy wherever you go. Please keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. And to all the viewers, que papito Dios me los bendiga. God bless you all.
Oh, thank you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go ahead.
I recently published a book, Beauty at Any Age, because age is just an attitude. And I was hoping you might share a few of your beauty tips that I could add to my Contained Beauty blog.
Awesome. And now if you can just reread the introduction, because when you introduced me, also you got frozen.
Oh, got frozen. Okay.
1, 2, 3, go ahead.
And now I'd like to introduce Javier Puga Phillips. Javier has written a book. Well, start again, sorry. I'd like to introduce Javier Puga Phillips, who has written a book about his battle against cancer. He survived not only once, but twice. Javier believes that cancer is not a death sentence, but a strong call for action. And I just love I love Javier's attitude towards that and learning about what he wrote in his book. And he has a Spanish version now, and I'm waiting for the English version because he shares so many different ways and so many different avenues and vehicles to overcoming cancer, not only through eating, but through so many other, what do you call them?
Tools, many tools.
Tools. Okay, so I'll just back up. Javier believes that cancer is not a death sentence, but a strong call to action. And what I love about all the different tools he shares in his book, not only eating right and fitness, taking care of himself, but he also shares all the various tools that he uses. And although he just has a Spanish version right now, I'm hopeful that the English version is not far behind. So let's welcome Javier.
Awesome, yay. Okay, perfect.